Hello, this is Roua Kabalan, and this is a prototype design pattern in C++. The intent. Prototype pattern is a creational design pattern allows you to copy the existing objects without making the code dependent on their classes. It allows us to hide the complexity of making new instances from the client. Motivation. A prototype is a template of any object before the actual object is constructed. Prototype design pattern is used in scenarios where application needs to create several instances of a class which has almost same state or have minimal differences. Some of the advantages of the prototype. The main advantage here is allow us to add and remove products at a runtime. And this will be explained as uh, simply by registering a prototypical instance with the client. That's a bit more flexible than the other creational pattern because the client can install and remove prototype during the runtime. The other advantages is by specifying new objects by varying values. It's a highly dynamic system will let you define new behaviors through object composition by specifying values for an object's variable and do not by defining new classes. The third advantage is by specifying new objects by varying structure. And this is done by many applications where it builds objects from parts and subparts, and for some convenience, such an application it often let you instantiate complexes user-defined structures to use a specific subcircuit again and again and again. It reduces subclassing. So this type of pattern let us clone a prototype instead of asking a factory method to make a new object. Therefore, we don't need to create a class hierarchy for it. Some of the disadvantages for this pattern, it will overkill for a project that will uses very few objects, and it does not have an underlying emphasis on the extension of prototype chains. It will also hide the concrete product classes from the client. And each subclasses of prototype must implement the clone operations, which may be difficult. When the classes under consideration already exist, it also implementing clone can be difficult when their internals include objects that don't support copying or have circular references. Next is applicability. Prototype pattern used when a system should be independent of how its products are created, composed, and represented. Used the use of the prototype pattern, it's done when the class to be instantiated is specified at the runtime. It also applicable to avoid building a hierarchy of factory classes, and it is more convenient to clone an object rather than creating a new object. And this is a sample of the UML class diagram where we have the client that will make a prototype. The prototype will need actually the concrete prototype to create the needed prototype for it. This is an example of UML class diagram. In the following example, a firework factory needs to create different types and colors of firework stick. The solution for this example will be including in an explanation following this slide for the UML class diagram and for the code demo. In this UML class diagram, we have three types of classes. The first one, we will have the client, and then we have the prototype, which is basically the fireworks, and then we have two concrete prototype, which are the star fireworks and the tree fireworks. The client class will allow to create a new object by asking a prototype to clone itself. And then the fireworks has been asked to clone and give us two different or two similar but have similar small difference in their context. So the prototype, which is the fireworks, declares an interface for cloning itself, and then the concrete prototype, which is star fireworks and tree fireworks, will implement the operations for cloning itself. As we will see next in the code, the process of the cloning will start by initializing and instantiated the class, and then the client will ask for a new object of that type, and it will send the request to the prototype class. The concrete prototype in this case, either star fireworks or tree fireworks, will depend on the type of the object it needed. Then it will handle the cloning through the clone method, and it will make a new instance for itself. As we can see from this code, we did start implementing by using the differentiating enum fireworks type, which we did give it two types, star and tree, and then we did start initiating and instantiating a prototype class or abstract prototype class, which is fireworks in this case, and we did give it a couple of strings such as the name of the firework, the shape, and the color, which will be our variables. And then we did add the cloning method on line 26. This method will be occurring in different parts where it will be in the concrete prototype for star and concrete prototype for tree as well. We can see in the concrete prototype, the first one, which is a star fireworks, we have the three different component, which are the name, the shape, and the color, has been initiated as starfire, star, and yellow. And this way we can start the cloning. And then in the next slide, it's the continuation of the other concrete type, which is on line 52, which is a tree fireworks. And also the cloning method has been occurring again on line 60. On line 69, we did initiate fireworks factory, which is the prototype factory that we did include in an order map to allow us to show publicly and create the new fireworks classes. And at the end, void client allows us to show the what will show on the console window, where we have create a star fireworks to sail it at the festival, and then we use the method that would show us the shape of the uh, firework and the color, which is a star and yellow on the first one, and the second one will create another fireworks that with the shape of a tree, and it will show us the tree shape and the red color. And we will show the output in the next slide that will says that create a star fireworks to sail it at the festival, create the following, will show us the shape star and give us this color, which is the yellow, and then the same for the second concrete prototype. And this is it.